All right. It's a little awkward working, and my big head is probably in the way. There is a round one. I don't feel like changing the blades. I'll get lazy sometimes. Get you over here so you're not looking at my big fat head. What I got to do is to measure the length of this, cut this off. It's got to come up and butt against this pressure treated 2x here, as well as this one. So what we're doing is we're going to mark it. I'd rather mark the wood than to draw a line with a ruler. I think it's a little more accurate. And what we're going to do is this is going to be the length of it. And then I got to cut out the notch out of here to fit in there. In other words, I cut straight across here, and then we got to cut like this on each side to get in there. Now, once I cut this, then I'm going to put some, if I got any more phenol seal left in that tube, we're going to fill this with phenol seal. Now, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but I had to leave the bottom piece of wood in there. Not a big deal. It's not pressure treated, though. This is not. All this is. But that's all right. We're going to fill it with phenol seal, and it'll outlast me. So we're going to cut this off, and then we'll continue on with our project. All right, now I got to take a measurement. We got to draw out the area where we got to cut out of here. So the first thing we do is how deep are we going into this? So in order to do that, we put the wood up like this. We go up against the threshold. And before we do that, before we even do that, move this stuff out of the way, be back in a minute, I gotta close this door because I need to get that thing right up against that white board at the bottom of the door there. This board here, it was, like I say, was added before. So we have to allow for that. If not, we're not going to be able to close the door. And that's the way it is. So we put this here and get our, no, we put this down here to get our, how far in. In other words, how far this is going to stick out. So, now, this here is going to sit on top of this. In other words, this piece that I'm going to put in here is going to be added after I get this in. So what we're measuring for is the 2x4 and the trim right here. We're cutting out that part on both sides. And the rest of this will be the overhang, which will go over, a little over this, which is good. It'll keep the water off. And then what I'll do is I'll chamfer the edge a little bit on this. So let's get started. right there. And the same on the other side. Now we just drew a quick, we got to cut obviously more out of it than that, but this is just to tell me to cut this out, not to cut this out. I've done that before, cut just the opposite. So now we got to do is lay it back in here. All right, and this will give us the exact width of this cutout on both ends. And then when it's shoved in up against here, this will go in further, and then I can chamfer this off. I can round, in other words, round this off a little bit. And if it sticks out too far, I can rip it down on a table saw. I'm not too worried about that. So, all right. Okay, so now this is what we actually have to cut out on each end. This is the part we get. There's a little difference in the right side versus the left side. There's a little difference. There's a little less cut out here than on the left side. So that's why a lot of times it's best to take the board and put it right up against something and measure it. Remember, you can always cut off, but you cannot add on unless you want to cork it. Now I could just as easily do it by hand, but I can cut straighter with power tools. And being that I'm left-handed, I got to go like this. Use the saber saw on it. It's just as easy because it's a small cut. Alright, let's just see how close I came. And then we'll put some phenol seal in it if we don't have to trim this. I might have to trim it, don't know yet. She fits tight. I always cut and leave the line. That way I can always skim it down, although it's hard with a saber saw. Okay, we got just a tiny crack in here. That's okay. It's not going to interfere. You don't need to go right up against the door. There's a threshold. The rubber part of the threshold is in the middle of this 1.5" OSB clapboard door. So that's where it's sitting on. So let's see. We're overhanging about 3/4 of an inch. If you're looking at this piece here, not looking at this. So, I didn't bang it all the way down yet. I think we'll take it out and I'll just trim it up a little bit so it'll fit. We'll not have to bang it down so hard because the wood will swell as it gets wet. I'm not painting this right away. All right, I got the piece in there, fitted in loosely. So now I can safely leave this door open and fasten it in. Now it's over the threshold, it's higher than the threshold, which is what I didn't want. That's why I used 1/4" plywood in the past. But you can see what happens when you use that. So I'm going to pheno seal whatever I got left in here, in this here, and in each corner, and then if I got enough, I'll drop it down in here when this is fitted up in there. If I have to get more in the future, I will. Let's get this here, and number 6 nails, and the drill, and the pheno seal. I don't expect very much out of this, so I probably will not get enough to do the job. Main thing is, oh, damn these. Oh. Spread it thin here. And try to get more in here. Dead caterpillar. All right. Number 6. We're right up against there. I have to use number 8s. We gotta go to 8s. Number 8s. Because we gotta go through 3/4. The piece I put in there and into the 2x, pressure treated 2x. Let's see, maybe we'll put one right here. You've got to guess where I'm actually hitting. It doesn't look much longer. Don't really want to put 10s in there. That's what I like to hear, good and solid. Now, this is not worked, so I don't need to worry about, like I did with the other piece, putting nails in the middle first and then do the edge. We're going to do the edge and just go right down the line. Well, can't use them, we gotta use number 8s. Don't get the wrong nails, you old goat. Keep your head on your shoulders, you old goat. Number 8s. Old goat. The old goat. Let's see. Nail here. And here. Here and here. Can't find a hole, folks. Don't look like an 8. I guess it is. It looked a little short. It's not too bad and not much, but 3/4 inch overhang, and that's not bad. I can chamfer this after. That's not a big deal. I'll just take our wood rasp and go over. Oh, I gotta get off my knees. That is very good. Now, what I think I will do, if I'm careful here, maybe put some number 6s into this piece. Of strength. I just don't want to split this, you know, so it won't go all the way down the line straight because it'll split it. I just put a couple in here and there. The number 8s are really the ones that are holding it in, and then like I say, I'll add a piece in here. I'll probably cut a piece of this because this is 3/4 stock. I'll just have to cut a little piece here because the bottom of these things always rot out, you know. Now, a little trick I learned, I probably showed you this. You hit against the wood, about 3/4 inch, thereabouts. So you're here, say you drill here, you just in a little bit. In other words, where this hole is now, about 3/8 of an inch in from the edge of the wood. Perfect. Didn't come through. There's always that possibility it could have come on the other side of the wood, but I doubt it. I doubt that. Oh. Oh. I really should have taken a step out, but in order to do that, I have to dig down and pull it out. It's all pressure treated. And it slips underneath this trim here that I put on years ago, pressure treated, which is what I'm nailing into now. So what we are doing here was we got the nail here. Put the screw with the nail here. That's all. Now, we'll put one more. That's too close to that. That's too close to that. Let's do one here. Okay, folks, this is how she be. Here's the area of concern here, but you see where this here sits in the middle of these 2 3/4 inch OSB crapboard of a door here that I got. So it sits in the middle of that. But I had to cut back the door, so in reality, this isn't really working for anything, but it was keeping the mice out and the ants. So now we're even better off because, you know, we can seal this here and it won't affect the door. I can still close the door because I'm only filling in this area here all the way down. I'll take a wood rasp and I'll clean that up. Alright, next step is to cut pieces for here and here, and before I put them in, we'll put some Phenol in here if I got any left. That tube is just about out. Alright, what I am going to do here, off camera, this is an old 2x2 furring strip, same width as what's on the door. So we got it all set for the rip fence here. So this is the pressure treated, this is the warped one. If you look at it now, it isn't too warped because the shorter it gets, you got a pretty good area here to work with. So I'm going to rip down this, and I'm going to make enough to do both sides of the door. So we'll do that off camera, and then we're going to cut them to length. Each one is a little different length, and I'll try to get as much Phenol in there as I can, and pre-drill them and nail them in. They're small blocks, so if you try to nail them without pre-drilling, you will bend the nails over. I know I will. Now I've got a piece longer than I need, of course. That's exactly the same width as this. So we're going to cut off a piece for here and a piece for here. We'll do that off camera, and we'll come back on after I get them trimmed to the size I need, and then we'll nail them into place. Alright, well, we got one. I'm having a hard time getting either too long or too short. I only need one nail in the middle of this. Let's see. Phenol in it. Yeah. Right here. This will be 2x4. And we'll use a number 6. I'm not going to worry about finish nails. We don't need finish nails on this type of job. Try to get every fraction of an ounce out of this thing. Yeah, looks good. Not perfect, you know, it's only a shed. We're not remodeling a bathroom or anything. Alright, now we're going to do the same to that side, but the battery, believe it or not, is getting low on this Kodak. That's unusual. I can usually get hours and hours and hours out of the battery in this. So we're going to end this. We're going to finish this off here. We'll do that off camera. And that's going to be it for this project here. I'll round the edges or chamfer the edge of the threshold at the end. I just hope I don't trip into the damn thing. I'm always tripping, getting my shoes caught up underneath here, and then come a great stumbling act into the shed. That's one of the reasons why I didn't want it to overhang. But I think I'll be okay. If I find that's going to be a problem, I'll take the small skill saw and just cut this flush with the piece of wood that's underneath here. It won't interfere with these nails. But I think we'll be okay. So that's it, folks. Did you know a cat's piss glows under a black light? Thanks for watching.